guys, it's your girl Keandra and I am back with another video, and this video is going to be my beginning or my first video of my week-long storytime series. I'm going to be uploading a video every day starting Monday all the way to Friday of different story times that have happened in my life. Y'all will see this shirt, this outfit, this makeup look in all 5 videos. You might even see this in 6 videos simply because I'm off today, so I'm getting these videos out, guys. So this video is going to be the time I saw dead people. So if you want to see or hear about this story time, then stay tuned. Okay, so this story took place back in college. I was probably like a sophomore, I think. Yeah, I was a sophomore in college. And no, I was a junior. I was a junior in college. And like all throughout high school and a little bit of college, I used to always get sick because I would stress myself out, and instead of like letting it out and letting things go, I would always just keep it in, and then it would make my body sick. So this particular time, I used to always get like kidney stones, like out of nowhere. Like I don't know why, but I got like at least like 3 or 4 like in the amount of in like a year. So this is one of the times where I had it. I feel like something else is wrong with me too, but like I don't remember what else. But I know for sure, I know I had a kidney stone at this point, and I had something else that was wrong with me. But either way, I went to the doctor and they prescribed me hydrocodone. So I talk about my grandma a lot on this channel because I don't get along with my mom, so a lot of times I was staying with her and my grandfather. And my grandfather, he practically like, he was like that father figure whenever my dad wasn't around. And so a lot of times I stayed with them. Like that's who they were, basically like kind of like my parents. So my grandpa, he passed about 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I think. Yeah, 4 years ago. So I was a junior in college, and I remember I was just in pain, crying in bed. And so I took some hydrocodone because, I mean, that's what my doctor prescribed me. So I take the hydrocodone, and I promise you guys, like, I was awake. I know for a fact I was not asleep. I was awake. At this time, my grandpa was dying of cancer. He was on his deathbed. He was on hospice, like all of this. He couldn't walk. He was honestly unrecognizable. Like, if you didn't tell me that was my grandpa, like I probably wouldn't have known. Because my grandpa was a big dude. He was like 6 foot. He's kind of hefty. At this point, he was like my size, like skinny. Like, because he had lost so much weight from chemo and all the stuff. Because he was sick. He was dying. So, I'm laying in my bed, took some hydrocodone, and he walks through my door, looking normal. Not like how I last saw him when I went to go visit him at the hospital, looking normal. He goes, "Keandra, let's go. We're about to go to Six Flags." Kaya's in the car. Kaya's my little sister, as you guys know. And I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, "Papa, when did you start walking again? When did you gain weight again?" And he was like, "Come on, before we're late." Kaya's in the car. I hear Kaya screaming from the car, "Come on, Keandra, let's go." Keep in mind, I stayed on the 2nd floor. My grandparents never came to my apartment because I stayed on the top floor, and they both had bad knees. So I'm thinking in my mind, like, how do you even get up the stairs, number 1? Number 2, how is he driving? Number 3, he's sick. He's like, what is going on? And when did he get money to take us to Six Flags? Not that he wouldn't have taken us to Six Flags, but like, I'm grown at this point, so I'm not expecting like my grandparents to pay for me a trip to Six Flags. Like, that just didn't make any sense. So he's like, "Come on, it's time to go to Six Flags." And I just started screaming, and I'm just like, "No, no." And so I called my granny. I called my grandma, and I'm like, "Granny, Papa's in my room. He's in my room." And I'm like crying on the phone, like, "Papa's in my room." She's like, "Girl, what are you talking about? He's at the hospital. I just left there. Like, what are you talking about?" I said, "Granny, I can't go to work. Papa's in my room. He's in my room." And she was like, "Child, what's your boss's number?" So I gave her my boss's number. My grandma calls my boss at work, and she's like, Keandra can't come into work today. She's seeing dead people. Like, that's what my boss told me. That's how it went. I don't know if that's exactly what she said, if it was more professional, but knowing my grandma, it probably wasn't. She was just like, she's seeing dead people. She can't come into work today. So I'm literally like in my bed, like rocking back and forth, like crying, y'all. And I was just, and she was just, so my grandma calls me back. She's like, you still seeing your papa? And I'm like, no, he left because he got mad because I wouldn't get out the bed and hurry up to go to the car for him and Kaya so we can go to Six Flags. And she's like, Kaya's at school, like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, no, Grady, he came into my room and he told me, let's go. And then she was like, did you take your medicine today for your, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I took it. And she was like, that medicine got you hallucinating. And I've always wondered, like, why I never really been into drugs and like weed and stuff like that. And like, I really barely ever get drunk because I'm a lightweight. But I really think that moment kind of did it for me, because if people are like high, like codeine and hydrocodone and Percocets, and they're hallucinating, and if that's what being high feels like, I don't ever want to feel that again. And the reason that this scared me so much is because I've already had like a paranormal activity experience before, which would be in my next story time. But like, I've always kind of felt like I've had these powers. Not saying that I'm psychic or anything, but kind of like psychic like powers. And I promise you, like, I'm not talking to the devil or anything, but this isn't the first time that stuff like this has happened. But this is the first time I've seen like a family member. And the thing was, like, even though my grandpa was still alive, like, he was definitely dying, like definitely dying. So I think he died maybe like a couple of weeks after that experience. So in my mind, I feel like I foreshadowed it, or like I knew that it was coming soon, which will bring me to my next story time. Or I guess I can kind of talk about it now. Y'all, I have powers. I don't know what kind of powers I have, but I can at least attest to like 3 people who would tell you like I have some type of powers. I be not wishing, but like speaking pregnancy into existence for certain people. That's happened before. A couple of times actually. I remember when my stepmother was pregnant with my sister, like I already knew it was a girl before they told me. Like, it's stuff like that, like I just be knowing. And I don't think it's like a lucky guess, because it happens like all the time. I remember this guy I was talking to, I moved to Atlanta. Me and him was talking when I was back home, and I seen this little boy who looked like he would be like the perfect mixture of me and him, like as if me and him had a child. And I remember telling him like, yo, like this is a little boy who looked like you down here, like blah, blah. Anyway, a couple months fast forward, he got a little girl, the most beautiful little chocolate girl. And he was like, you told me I had a kid out here, and how did you know, and blah, blah, and I didn't know, blah, blah. Anyway, so yeah, now he got a kid. Other friend hit me up the other day. Oh, no, I hit him up. I always try to check on my friends, especially my friends from college. I feel like since I moved out here, I've just distanced myself from a lot of my friends. So I was checking on him. He was like, guess what? I was like, you got a baby? He's like, yep. So it's just like, stuff like this always happens, whether it's like with babies and stuff, but and then like, I haven't had really dealt with anything as far as like death concerning since this whole thing with my grandpa. But he was definitely dying. He definitely was not supposed to be walking, let alone trying to go to Six Flags. And I remember it clear as day. He came in my room. He was like, yo, let's go. I'm thinking, how he get in my house? Because I had 2 roommates. And I was like, who left the door unlocked? But like, you know, like this happened. And it wasn't funny because my grandpa was dying. But the funny part was me reacting the way I was and screaming and crying to the point where I couldn't even go to work. So next day comes, I walk into work, everybody looking at me like I'm crazy. And they were like, why did you come to work? And they was like, why did you come to work? Blah, blah. I was like, oh, you know, I was sick. So my manager, she was black. She was real cool. Pulled me in the office and she was like, so you be seeing dead people? And I was just like, no, like, is that what my grandma said? She was like, yeah. She was basically like, Keandra can't come to work today because she's seeing dead people. And I was like, no, I think it's the medication I was on. It had me hallucinating. So I was seeing my grandpa, who isn't dead yet, but he's on his deathbed. And she was just like, oh, okay. Like, she was just laughing about it. And it was just like, that moment was so surreal, guys. Like, I have no clue how scary that was. And then I just felt so bad because I knew that my grandpa was about to die, but I wasn't ready for him to die. And I wish that moment was real. I honestly do. I wish it was real. I wish we could have went to Six Flags, one last time before he passed. But yeah, that was my story on seeing dead people. Oh man, like, I still, like, oh my gosh. And when I tell you guys, like, I did not sleep for like 2 days because I have really bad astigmatism. So if I stay in the dark long enough, I start to see things. So I didn't really sleep, so I feel like somebody was in my room with me for like, anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening to my story. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the week for my other story times. Bye guys.